Hey everybody, Boris of Forex. Welcome to the crosses section for August 14th to August 18th of 2017 on the weekly technicals. And this week the crosses I think are incredibly interesting because there's some side stories that are developing that could have very long-term movement implications. And to me, the sort of interesting cross stories this week are some relative strength stories as well as some surprisingly interesting technical setups that I think I'd like to just simply point out to you. So pound CAD to me is the classic let's bet that cable is weak, CAD is strong trade this week based on the fundamental data. We are bearish the Canadian data on the UK data on the inflation side of it, which should pressure cable, which has already been on a relative weakness trade on the major side, could possibly push us down to below 126. And CAD, after having a weak last week, has really sort of stabilized and hit what we think is going to be the top of its range. Dollar CAD is going to be top of its range. If it gets any kind of support from oil, and as we go into the end of the week, if it gets support from the inflation data, should be a relative strength trade. So this 166, 162 relatively wide range, but an interesting range, provides a very interesting opportunity. On the technical side, I'll show this to you. It looks like a very, very tight, low volatility candle on the weeklies. But again, that's exactly the kind of a candle that resolved itself into a big volatility move the week following. So we should be watching that very carefully. Now, fundamentally, I think the most interesting story is the one that a lot of the big money central banks starting to talk about, which is the euro-pound parity story. This is a very long-term trend. But what we're seeing on a short-term basis is, of course, the run towards the recent highs at 92. Those are crucial because truly to get comfortable and confident in the idea that we're going to see euro-pound parity, we need to take out those 92s sooner rather than later. So this week could be the setup for that particular structure. Support is very, very nearby at 90, and the run towards 92 could be a very interesting trade this week as we kind of focus on the crosses section. And then finally, last but not least, even though I have a mildly relative strength bullishness on COM dollars versus the majors, I think if euro gets this anti-dollar push to try to run for the 120s, we could blow through this 162 resistance on euro kiwi. And if you look at the technicals, it looks like it's just about ready to challenge that double top to make a run all the way out to 166. It's a very wide range, 162, 156, but those are very small pips on the Kiwi side. So really worth watching as a potentially explosive, large volatility trade. Let's take a look at all of them in order. Let's first take a look at pound CAD. And you can see that this is not last week's candle. This is 2 weeks prior candle where we kind of failed out. Sort of a mild shooting star candle. Last week's candle is incredibly tight. There's very, very little volatility, and that generally tends to move towards a more volatile move to the downside. So if you believe the downside is possibly broken, it's going to be the 162 that gets challenged to the downside, 166 to the upside. Really, it's a trade first on pound weakness, and then as the week progresses on loonie strength. But it does look like it's ready to basically possibly test the lows again. Very minimum, possibly test the lows here at the 162s before any kind of action takes place. The second trade is a very, very, I think I'm going to have to type this in manually, very, very well-focused pair. But I wanted to kind of bring your attention to this on a technical basis. So large upward move, consolidative pattern here, double bottom. There's a nice W double bottom, and we look like we're ready to take this out. This is really the moment of truth here in terms of do or die, where the euro pound can really rally and take out the highs. The high over here is 92.25. That's the serious high. This is the weekly chart here that puts us square up into this absolutely historic parity level. Never been there before, and certainly going to be very much worth watching to see if we get anywhere close to it. So it was really very much worth watching this week as we could pre-set up the whole drama of the move towards the 100. And I really like it just on a technical basis. It looks super strong momentum-wise, and it certainly looks like it could make the move towards the, at very minimum, 92 level as we go forward. The data on the UK side, could be the catalyst to push us higher here on the euro pound side, and it'd certainly be very much worth watching as we go forward. And finally, the last trade is the euro kiwi, and again here I just want to show you the pattern. Look at this setup. Looks like it's just ready to take out the highs, right? Now, it's either, again, do or die situation here. If we get rejected here, it looks like we could drift all the way back down to the 56s. But overall, this pattern looks very strong. First of all, you have a very long rounding bottom here. You have a series of higher lows, which is very supportive of the euro trade. And now we're ready for this final burst. This really, I think, is a bet on the fact that euro could make a run towards the 120 as the week progresses. This is really a bet on further dollar weakness. And the momentum in the euro is going to be much faster and much stronger than the momentum in the kiwi. So it's just going to be a momentum trade here that could really work very, very well. But if it does take out this 162 level, there's nothing here to stop it until 170. And it becomes a very, very powerful upward move on the cross side. So that's how the week shapes up. I kind of like these trades as the week starts out. And I wish you guys the best of luck and the best of trading.